Hey there guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. In today's episode, I would like to share with you my personal opinion on things that you should take in consideration before starting paragliding. You might be a beginner right now watching this video or interested in starting paragliding, or you might be already a pilot who flies for a while now, but I think some of you guys might be able to relate with this. I am flying actively for like 3 years now, and I've had a bunch of experiences, good ones, bad ones, and that's why I want to share with you these important tips. My experiences are the inspiration to make you maybe aware of things that you might not think in the beginning when you are seeing a paraglider in the air, or when you are looking at this awesome sport on YouTube or on other media outlets. I have a bunch of paragliding videos on my channel. Some of them are cross-country, some of them are just pure acrobatics or trying to do some acrobatic stuff. So I think you might be entertained. If you like to, you can check them out here or here, somewhere there, and I would really appreciate that. Without further ado, let's start with the important tips or points that I would like to share with you before starting paragliding. So let's start with the money from the very beginning. You are going to need the money for a course, a paragliding course. You have to be trained professionally to be safe throughout your journeys, throughout your paragliding experiences, and that's going to save you a lot of stress and fear. The next thing you have to purchase is a glider, a harness, a reserve parachute, a helmet, and a vario. And maybe some other little things if you like to be more fancy. Here in Germany, where I am living, you have to first pay a paragliding course, which can cost between, 1,000 to 1,500 euros. And you also have to purchase a paraglider and all the stuff that I mentioned before. The prices can range between 3,000 and 6,000 euros or 5,000 euros. It really depends on how advanced your equipment is. So keep in mind, it's not very cheap in the beginning to purchase everything. A big mistake that I have done in the beginning before I became a paraglider pilot was to think that I will be able to fly whenever I want, wherever I want. But that's unfortunately not the case because of two very important factors: the time and the weather. If the weather is good, you might have to go to work. If the weather is bad, you might have time. Everybody has a life and a job where you go to school. You will have to align somehow your time in such a way to find a good window in which you can fly. Why I'm saying that is because the weather is not going to be perfect all the time. You will not be able to fly whenever you want, wherever you want. It is not possible. Of course, I could go now in the technical aspect of how to start a paraglider and how the wind has to be, how the weather has to be, but that's not the point right now. It really depends on your specific wish. Why do you want to fly paraglider? What is your imagination and your expectation from this sport? My imagination and my expectation from the beginning was that I will be able to soar like a bird in the sky, unlimited time, and as long as I want, fly wherever I want. I didn't even know that you need the thermals, the hot air that rises up to keep you up. And I didn't even know you will have to search, to be in a constant search for this hot air rising up, because I didn't have no idea. I was a young boy, I was maybe like 14, 15. I went to the buddy of mine and I flew together with him, and I didn't even know what he's doing there. Like if he has to search for thermals or whatever. We just flew maybe like 20 minutes or 15, I don't remember properly anymore, and we just landed. A new idea was born. I wanted to become a paraglider pilot. Another important aspect to think of is the location that you are living in. Do you have to maybe drive just 20 minutes to your local launch site or any other launch site, or do you have to drive 2 hours? Because that's going to be a very important aspect in the long run. The more you are going to progress in this sport, you will have more expectations from yourself, and you will like to have awesome flights, longer flights, or whatever, and you're not going to be any more willing to drive 2 hours to just have a flight, maybe a 5 minutes long flight. You want to stay as long as possible, because that's what we all paraglider pilots love, at least many of us. You might have been inspired from YouTube videos. There are a bunch of paraglider vloggers out there. You might see them flying and having a lot of fun, but you have to know that they are also not flying every day. They also have to schedule their lives to make all these videos possible. Of course, it's looking awesome, but this is important to understand that it is not possible to fly every day. Sometimes you have like a month break between your flights, sometimes just 2 weeks, sometimes you can maybe fly 4 days in a row. But that's just how it is. That's how the sport works. There are skills that you have to develop over time, like for example, how to start in stronger wind, how to pack your glider, how to make different maneuvers in the air that you will have to learn in school. It is not necessarily a hard process or a long one, but you really have to stay focused and to understand that it's not fun from the very beginning. I'm not saying that paragliding is not fun. It is extreme fun, and it's one of the most beautiful sports on this world, in my opinion. But you have to understand where your imagination stops and where the reality begins. Hey, but I'm not here to pull you down. If this is really your wish to become one of these pro paraglider pilots, you can do it. You just have to be perseverant and put a lot of work into it and time. That's all. Another thing that I imagined when I was younger, I was looking up in the sky and I was seeing the pilots smoothly floating up there, thinking, wow, that has to be the most awesome feeling in the world. Yeah, it is, but it is not as smooth as you might think it is. Sometimes in the morning or in the evening, you have this very calm, smooth air. But if you see somebody so high, like in a very hot summer day, for example, or in the spring, or in the fall, these pilots are up there concentrating for the next thermal, and for the next one, and for the next one, which is, like I said before, the hot air that pushes you up. So they are in constant search for the thermals to be able to have these long flights. If you want to start paragliding, to maybe just soar along the coastline, for example, if you are living by the sea, or if you are living in the mountains, you just want to soar along a ridge line, that's completely fine. You can do that. And I'm really encouraging you to do it because it's an awesome feeling. On the other hand, if you are more focused on acrobatics, well, we speak now about a different type of paragliding. This is going to require a long time to get all these skills to be able to make all these crazy acrobatic moves in the air. So my number one wish in paragliding, and why I even continue flying paraglider, is because I would like to have very long cross-country flights, and because of thermaling, which means I would like to reach as high as possible. Of course, there are also restrictions in that as well. You cannot reach to 5,000, 6,000 meters because you are going to violate the laws. If your specific wish is just like mine, which is thermaling and cross-country flights, you need to understand that you need a specific set of skills as well. This is not going to happen overnight. You might have in the beginning, of course, short cross-country flights, or maybe you are going to land somewhere where you didn't want to. But that's the process of learning. So in order for you to have maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 kilometers long cross-country flights, or even over 100 kilometers long, you will need some practice. I'm not necessarily the guy who is speaking about dangers or afraid of the dangers of paragliding necessarily, but you should also understand that this sport can be fatal, but in very rare situations. So don't feel bothered by that. Don't be afraid, just be cautious and don't push your limits if you are not trained or experienced enough. Take your time with paragliding, that's very important. It's either when you are launching your glider, if it's in the reverse launch configuration or the forward launch configuration, it doesn't matter, just take your time. What applies on the ground applies in the air too. Be cautious, don't let yourself be intimidated or pressured by no one. If you are seeing somebody else thermaling above you, much higher, keep in mind that they also started from the bottom, and you will have to find the right thermal for you and concentrate. I have a video on how to thermal, and if you like to check it out, it's somewhere here again. That's very helpful if you are a beginner. So yeah, those are the things I wanted to share with you. But if you have other ideas or things that you maybe think I forgot to speak about, drop them in the comment section below. So I have a bunch of paragliding videos on my channel, and as well traveling vlogs. Maybe you are into that as well. You can check out my channel. I would appreciate if you subscribe, give me a big thumbs up, and maybe click that notification bell as well to be notified every time when I'm uploading something new. I appreciate, stay safe out there, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.